Most of us probably have only a vague idea of what dominated our lives 20 years ago. Certainly the attack of September 11 will feature as a significant time in world history, but I doubt that Arnold Roth and his family were overly focused on how Islamic terrorism took its cause to the entire world and not just Israel. That's because in August of 2001, Ahlam Tamimi planned and executed the terror attack on the Sbarro pizzeria that claimed the lives of Malki Roth and 14 other innocent Israelis. We're all familiar with the story of how Tamimi was convicted in Israel and given 16 life sentences, but that in 2011 was included in the prisoner exchange that resulted in the release of Gilad Shalit. We will never know how crucial her inclusion was to the success of this deal, but we do know that it struck a body blow to the Roths, particularly how Tamimi proudly and publicly admitted her role in this grisly act of terrorism and was thrilled with the number of Israelis killed. But for the Roths, it got even worse. On her release, Tamimi ended up in Jordan, welcomed as a hero, and given her own TV current affairs program, which she has run for several years now. Some might say that there is always another side to the story, but in this case, there is none. Jordan actually has an extradition treaty with the United States, and this became relevant as Malki had dual citizenship by virtue of her mother having an American passport. However, the real blame for all this lies at the feet of Jordanian King Abdullah II, someone who presents himself to the world as a modern man of the times, working to drag Jordan out of its medieval Arab mentality and change the mindset of justifying universal hatred of Jews and jihadist terrorism. So, what's he done to correct this major travesty? Nothing. Justice has not yet been served. Despite making some encouraging noises over the years, the Americans have also been dragging their heels on this issue. Australia has done likewise, and it seems that everyone would just wish this problem would go away. Everyone, that is, except Arnold and Freedman Roth, who have been relentless in their pursuit of justice. They make the point that if King Abdullah and his international friends are unable to draw a moral and religious line in the Tamimi case and act on it, he and they will not be able to draw it anywhere else, and this has serious implications. And fighting until justice is secured is also a moral imperative for the Jewish world, and that's all of us. We can complain about COVID and the Biden administration, the treatment of Israel in the media, and the rising level of anti-Semitism around the world. But fighting for justice for Malki is just as big an issue. And yes, it is easy for us to move on, as they say, but moving on is not an option for Arnold and Freedman, and I have no doubt that each of us would take the same view if we were in their position. So what can we do? Well, the first thing is to follow Arnold on any of his social media platforms, which go under the label of This Ongoing War. Sadly, it has been an ongoing war for 20 years now. And if you really want to make a tangible difference, follow Karen Malki or the Malki Foundation and donate what you can in order to enable the Roths to continue doing this important work on behalf of the Jewish world, but for Malki Roth. May her memory be a blessing.